What's up, Impact Asylum? My name's Fireguy, and welcome back to another episode of Fireguy's Predictions. This is a very special episode of Fireguy's Predictions, as I will be giving my predictions for the biggest pay-per-view that Impact has had in a very long time. It's Slammiversary 16 or Slammiversary 2018, whatever you want to call it. I am super, I can't emphasize it enough, super excited for this card, guys. It has been crazy, the roller coaster ride that Impact Wrestling has been in the last year, but they're finally on the good track, I guess you could say, to get, oh no, I wouldn't say get good, but I mean, like, they're on the right track to get their fame and glory back, like the good old days, like we like to compare it to on the website. So, man, oh man, I am so excited for this pay-per-view. The build to this pay-per-view has been incredible. I was looking for the word there. Amazing build. The best build that we've had in a very long time. And with this new regime of Don Callis and Scott D'Amore, I am really excited for this pay-per-view, guys. It might actually blow the roof off the whole place, guys. It is sold out in the Rebel Complex in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. My home province, my home country. Yeah, I guess you could say it like that. I am pretty excited. So we have a stacked card here today, and for the new people tuning in for the first time, the Fireguys Predictions, this is how this audio column goes. I basically do a rundown of the match, how it led to this point, the story leading up to that point, the feud basically, and then I give my predictions on the match itself, the winner, the loser, the outcome, whatever you want to call it, and then I do a little predictions on what will be happening afterwards, moving on after Slammiversary with the wrestlers involved in that match. So without further ado, guys, we have a stacked card. I'll probably be rambling on for a very long time. So let's get right into it, guys. With the first match, it's an international four-way as Johnny Impact takes on Ishimori, Phoenix, and Rich Swann in a four-way, like I already stated. That was just said very poorly on my behalf. So, I guess Impact isn't done doing random X Division multi-man matches, but here it makes sense to have it. We have four huge stars. Like Rich Swann is huge because of WWE. Phoenix is just huge in the Mexican market. Ishimori is huge because of his debut in New Japan Pro Wrestling as the Bone Soldier. And Johnny Impact, well, he's just big on the indie scene. That's how it goes. It makes sense here. And with the return of Johnny Impact after being written off TV by Kongo Kong, and Bone Soldier Ishimori coming over from New Japan, used to work for Noah. There's tons of stuff that could happen here. So like I said, there's no story coming into this. It's just a random X Division multi-man match, but it's gonna set the stage for the rest of the pay-per-view, guys. If the quality we get in this match is more than likely the quality we're gonna be getting for the rest of the card, it's going to be really freaking awesome. So my predictions here, like I said, it's a bit harder because there is no story leading up to this. It's very up in the air as to who could win this. But I feel like Phoenix and Rich Swann are out of the equation here. I don't really see them winning the match. It's going to be between the returning Johnny Impact and the returning Bone Soldier Ishimori. So Johnny Impact here, I feel like it's a bit strange that he's in this match after being written off TV by Kongo Kong. I was kind of hoping he'd come back with a vengeance, maybe as a heel because his face got smashed in. I don't know. I was kind of comparing it a bit to like that Cody Rhodes storyline that happened years ago when he was still in the WWE and he had the whole face mask plastic surgery thing going on. I kind of imagine it as that, as Johnny Impact coming back and wanting vengeance for his, moneymaker, like Miz likes to call it, being messed up, So, who knows, maybe Kongo Kong will get involved in this match. He is not on the card, and Impact seemed to be making a big deal out of Kongo Kong, so he more than likely will make an appearance. But Johnny Impact here, I wouldn't say he win. I'm not sure if he's gonna win it. It's honestly between Johnny Impact and Ishimori, like I already said. But coming back to Johnny Impact, he's coming back. He's a big name, and getting a win under his belt like that might cement him a spot later on as he tries to get vengeance on Congo Kong. So who knows if he's gonna come back as a face or as a heel. I'm hoping he doesn't come back as if nothing ever happened with Congo Kong. That's old TNA regime booking right there. So hopefully Don Callis and Scott D'Amore keep that in mind. I really want to see some continuity with these storylines. So Johnny Impact definitely has a 50% chance of winning this. The other 50% chance is Ishimori. Ishimori left Noah, went to New Japan Pro Wrestling, became the new Bone Soldier. For those who don't know, the Bone Soldier is a big deal over in Japanese wrestling. So Ishimori coming back to Impact, starting to cement some kind of New Japan Pro Wrestling and Impact Wrestling partnership could be huge. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does win this match. And if he does win this match, I'm assuming moving forward he'd get some kind of X Division title shot going with it. So definitely I see either or winning. Phoenix and Rich Swann are kind of out of the equation here. I don't see them winning at all the match. But for sure, Ishimori, Johnny Impact are my two best bets. I'm kind of leaning more towards Johnny Impact because I don't really feel like I'm not saying that Ishimori isn't entertaining in the X Division. I'm just saying with all the teases with Desmond Xavier going after a title, I'd much rather like Desmond Xavier be in an X Division title feud or program rather than Bone Soldier Ishimori. So that's my prediction, guys. I can't really give you a definitive answer. It's 50-50 Johnny Impact and Ishimori. I'm leaning more towards personally Johnny Impact, but that has nothing to do with that's just my personal opinion and not really the logical opinion, I guess you could say. So let's move on to the next match here, guys. It's Tessa Blanchard versus Ali. So how this match came to happen was basically a feud within the feud. Tessa Blanchard was feuding with Madison Rayne ever since Redemption. Ali was feuding with Su Yung. Ali was written off TV. She was put in a casket. She made her return, and she got involved in Tessa Blanchard's business while Tessa Blanchard and Madison Rayne, was in the main eventing an episode of Impact. So Tessa was beating down Madison Rayne after the match. Ali came in for the save, and now Tessa Blanchard wants a match against Ali to teach her a lesson because, you know, Tessa's a heel. She has a big ego, so she wants to beat up everyone. So yet again here, this match, it's two very talented ladies. Of course, the storyline was never a big focus of anything, which it's not supposed to be. It's just a little feud on the side that kind of spontaneously occurred outside of the Madison Rayne and Su Yung storyline. So it's funny though because they kind of intertwined their rivalries a bit. Because at the beginning it was Madison Rayne and Tessa, and then Ali and Su Yung. You know, they just swapped sparring partners, I guess you could say. But anyways, this match, I'm definitely intrigued to see who Impact will give the victory to. Because I would think if they want to keep Tessa strong, she would have to win this match. She's already lost twice to Madison Rayne, and taking another loss to Ali is literally going to kill all her credibility, and she's going to be on Taya Valkyrie's level of credibility, which is non-existent. So I personally feel if they want to make a strong heel out of Tessa, make Tessa go over Ali. Ali being a Canadian girl, who's also from Ontario, if I'm not mistaken, and from Toronto as well. I might be mistaken, guys, but I'm pretty sure that she's from Toronto, or maybe somewhere else. No, I think that I'm getting messed up here. But anyways, she's from Canada. So if you want some heel heat on Tessa, make Tessa go over Ali, especially in Canada, like I just said. Like, it's a no-brainer here. That's going to get some huge heel heat on Tessa. She's going to be the biggest heel on the Knockouts roster if she does go over Ali. But there, another problem arises is that we already have Su Yung as the heel champion, and having a heel versus heel match isn't really going to work, right? So there's a part of me that says Ali should win this because we need to keep baby faces. With rumors of Madison Rayne not continuing with Impact after Slammiversary, there's really only Ali and Kiera Hogan that are faces in the division. There's Tessa, which is a heel, Su Yung, who's a heel, Taya Valkyrie, who's a heel. It just all adds up, right? So part of me, to define a character and to get that character to the next level, I would definitely go with Tessa Blanchard. But to maintain that babyface heel ratio within the Knockouts division, I would go Ali. But I guess picking Ali would be more long-term thinking, and Tessa Blanchard would be more short-term thinking. Although I feel like Tessa should get the victory here, or else she'll lose all credibility. Ali also deserves a good win, but honestly, I would stick with Tessa here. That's my prediction. But moving forward from here, obviously these two aren't going to continue feuding. This is just a pretty small, relatively small feud. So where I see this going, Ali might keep going after Su Yung to get more revenge after that casket match. Rosemary's still out of action, so I don't think we'll be seeing her anytime soon. But Tessa Blanchard, on the other hand, I wouldn't be surprised if she does go for a title shot next. It's going to be definitely interesting to see how they make that heel versus heel dynamic work if Su Yung does retain. I mean, if Madison Rayne does win and the rumors are false, then a Madison Rayne versus Tessa Blanchard, the trilogy basically, for the knockout style this time, would be interesting to see yet again, because those two did put on decent outings the last two times they met face to face in the ring. So let's move on to the next match, guys. I'm going to keep going through these non-title bouts first, and then I'll be focusing on the title fights. So let's move on now. We have gimmick matches going on here. First one is a House of Hardcore rules match, guys. So basically, anything goes street fight between Tommy Dreamer and Eddie Edwards. And damn, there's some story behind this one, guys. Wow. So this is one of those storylines that really worked, in my opinion. Impact really make a good blend of sports entertainment with a cinematic style that Lucha Underground likes to use, and I feel like blending those two together really gives it a real life feel. Like, especially with this match, I get that the Sami Callihan versus Eddie Edwards killing each other in the woods part was a bit not realistic, but besides that, the feelings and the emotions and the way they made this match come to life made it really feel like it was like the guys really hated each other. So how this all came to happen was Eddie Edwards was feuding with Sami Callihan a few months ago because of the whole eye injury thing. You guys remember that. They had a fight in the woods that was the big culmination to the feud. But Tommy Dreamer came out of nowhere and pulled Eddie Edwards off of Sami Callihan after he was beating him down. Eddie Edwards got mad, pushed Tommy Dreamer, and his wife Alicia was starting to get a bit scared of her own husband, So he went home one day. Alicia wasn't home. He blamed it on Tommy Dreamer. He went to his own promotion, House of Hardcore, beat the crap out of him, made him bleed. And Tommy Dreamer is not okay with that. Tommy Dreamer said he gave Eddie tons of chances, and now it's time for war. So these two are having a House of Hardcore match to see who's just to fight, I guess, basically, because they hate each other. So, Tommy Dreamer on a pay-per-view in 2018 doesn't sound all that great, but Impact have managed to make the story interesting to make up for that. And Tommy Dreamer can still go if the match is gimmicked like this. When matches are gimmicked like this, it kind of hides how, like, I wouldn't say old age, but the grind that he's been on for the last not few years, but I mean, like, quite a while. So, I definitely feel like the hardcore gimmick's gonna cover that up a bit, and it's definitely gonna be an entertaining match just to see, all the cool stunts they're gonna do and the cool spots and stuff like that, I guess you could say. Definitely someone's going to bleed here. They foreshadowed it with Tommy Dreamer bleeding at the House of Hardcore promotion segment they aired on Impact a few weeks ago. So I wouldn't be surprised if the match ended right as someone started bleeding. So obviously here, the prediction here is clear as day, and there's no way Tommy Dreamer's winning this. Eddie Edwards is definitely going to win. Continue his path of destruction. That slow transition to a heel is really, really, really working for him. For a guy that really doesn't have that great of mic skills or acting, he's really pulling off the heel character quite well, if I can say so myself. Definitely not the best though, definitely not the worst. So definitely winning here is definitely going to cement him as a heel. And who he's going to feud with later on, I don't want to actually say that right now, guys. I'm going to come back to that later on. You guys will understand why. Just stay tuned. If you guys keep listening, I promise I'll get back to it. I just want to talk about Eddie Edwards' future and impact after I predict a certain match, and you guys can probably guess what I mean by that. Tommy Dreamer, on the other hand, I don't think there's much else for him to do in Impact. He's just a part-timer that comes in from time to time to do stuff with Impact. So I don't think there's gonna be much in store for him moving forward. But it's definitely gonna be interesting to see where Alicia fits in all of this. We haven't seen her in a few weeks, so what will happen once Eddie Edwards my prediction, Eddie Edwards pins or submits, whatever, wins over Tommy Dreamer. Will she come back and try and calm Eddie Edwards down? Who knows? But hopefully we see a bit more of her, and she just doesn't magically disappear off of our TV screens. So let's move on to the next match, and this one I would say is the main event of the non-title matches. It's a mask versus hair match. Lucha de Puestas. I can't speak Spanish, guys. I'm sorry. That sounded really messed up. But it's a mask versus hair match. Pentagon Jr.'s mask versus Sami Callihan's hair. This match, man, oh man, it's going to be fun, although quite predictable, obviously. So how this match came to happen, really, it's just kind of weird. It came out of nowhere. Pentagon Jr. and Austin Aries were in the world title situation together, feuding. Austin Aries took the title by Pentagon by a low blow, and magically Pentagon completely forgot about Austin Aries, didn't want revenge or anything, wasn't mad at Austin Aries, and just started feuding with Sami Callihan. So that's pretty much it. But for real though, that joking aside, OVE were trying to demask Phantasma. Pentagon came in for the save because the Lucha Door mask is one of the most prestigious things in Lucha Libre. So obviously, regardless if you're a heel or a face, you're always going to look out for your fellow luchadors' masks, which is seriously a real deal down in Mexico. So he came out for the save, kept going on like that. Eventually, OVE attacked Phoenix. Pentagon Jr. came in for the save. It wasn't actually Pentagon Jr., it was Sami Callihan in disguise, but the real Pentagon Jr. came in for the save, beat down. They had a 6-man tag match last week, which was freaking amazing, although some very unrealistic kickouts from Sami Callihan, I must admit. So it's going to be crazy to see what's going to happen to put Sami Callihan out of action in this match. So there's my prediction, guys. Pentagon Jr. is going to win. Pentagon Jr.'s mask is purely a moneymaker. There's no way Pentagon is going to be demasked here at Slammiversary. Pentagon also has another mask versus mask match coming up in AAA. Not AAA, I don't remember which promotion, but down in Mexico. It's a big deal. It's like a 4-way. So they're not going to do the demasking here. And I'm not saying he's going to get demasked in Mexico either. I don't think he's going to get demasked at all, because Pentagon Jr.'s mask is just way too big of a deal. And I think there's only one picture that's ever surfaced of him unmasked, and it was with Rey Mysterio. I think I've seen it before, I remember, but he was wearing sunglasses, so you couldn't really see much anyways. But regardless, there's no way he's going to be demasked here. Meanwhile, Sami Callihan on the other side definitely could get shaved. There's nothing that matters with that. One thing that I hated that Impact did was that they tried to make Sami Callihan care for his hair. They could have just easily told the story as being shaved bald is just embarrassing. Like, they didn't have to have Sami Callihan cut a promo or a backstage statement saying, my hair's been with me through every ring and every promotion, I love my hair and all that shit. You can just say, it's going to be embarrassing to be shaved, you know? Like, you didn't have to make a whole big deal about his hair. There's a difference between saying, oh, I love my hair and I don't want it to be shaved, and it being bald is embarrassing, you know? Like, there's a difference, and easily just switching up that small sentence could have not made this storyline felt so rushed, and it would have felt a bit more organic, I guess you could say, a bit more real. So definitely here, Pentagon Jr. wins. Moving forward is the interesting part. Pentagon Jr., I definitely see him going back in the title scene if Austin Aries retains. And I wouldn't be surprised if he goes after Austin Aries, even if Austin Aries loses the title. Austin Aries did do a low blow to Pentagon, so he might want revenge, regardless if the title's in this situation or not. Although that's I guess it'd be a face thing to do, yeah. So it'd still be in character for him in Impact Wrestling. Sami Callihan on the other side, I would love him to go chase after the world title, but definitely I don't know what's gonna be up with Sami Callihan moving forward. That's definitely gonna be intriguing. That's the whole point of his character, I guess. A bit unhinged, a bit unpredictable. So Impact have done a really good job making Sami Callihan unpredictable in his next actions, I guess you could say. So definitely really interested to see what's going to go on with these two wrestlers moving forward, but I'm definitely excited for their match at Slammiversary as well. So time to move on to the title matches, guys. So, the first title match, well, I'm not saying it's the first title match of the show, I'm just saying first one I'll be predicting, is for the Impact X Division Championship. The champion, Matt Sydal, defends against Brian Cage. So this match has had very little build to it. It mostly revolved around Brian Cage getting a title shot against Matt Sydal, Congo Kong costing him the match. Then Congo Kong and Brian Cage feuded a bit while Matt Sydal just disappeared from TV for a few weeks. Brian Cage won the match against Congo Kong, and now he's back chasing the X Division title. So it's kind of like he won a number one contender, got the match, got distracted for a bit, took care of the problem, and now he's back on track chasing after the title. So with that said, like I said, Matt Sydal was basically in the background the whole time, not really doing much. So I feel like Impact are foreshadowing the fact that Matt Sydal is going to lose here. And obviously, with Brian Cage being, I would still say, undefeated pin submission wise, he did get that count out loss in that last X Division Championship match these two had. So I definitely don't think Matt Sydal is the person to pin Brian Cage. And it's definitely going to be a fun match. So like I said, Matt Sydal can work with any kind of person from what I can see. And Brian Cage can definitely do some X Division style stuff too, right? And with Brian Cage winning the title, it's really going to fit the motto of no limits, you know, regardless of your body weight, height, whatever you want to call it. So for sure, Brian Cage is going to win here. It's kind of a predictable match yet again, but it's definitely going to be a heck of a match as well. So moving forward, I'm assuming Matt Sydal will get a rematch. We'll probably lose again, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens if he's just going to float back down the X Division card. Because, not the X Division card, but the X Division division. I don't know why I said that word twice, but the X Division, because, you know, for some reason the X Division can't have multiple stories going on at the same time. Just two people feuding and the rest are non-existent. So I hope they don't write Matt Sydal off TV just like that. I hope he keeps being a recurring character because he is a big deal in Impact. He's one of the main guys on TV all the time. And I know some people don't like his third eye gimmick, but I think it clicks. For me, it clicks really well. It's a bit comical at times, but it fits the weird hippie character that he's trying to portray very, very well. Meanwhile, Brian Cage, on the other hand, with his X Division title, I wouldn't be surprised if the next TV pay-per-view would be Destination X. Because then, what does Destination X mean? Option C. And Brian Cage can more than likely cash in the X Division Championship for a world title shot. So Brian Cage is in line to get the title shot. I'm probably 100% certain that that's what Impact has in mind. Slowly building up Brian Cage, giving him a mid-card title, and now he's ready to go after that world title because Don Callis is really, really big on the guy, and for good reasons. So definitely for sure here, Brian Cage wins the X Division Championship and will more than likely cash it in at Destination X, if my predictions are correct, of course. And I wouldn't be surprised if he asks for his title shot at Bound for Glory, because that would be a huge main event as well, regardless of who wins the main event of Slammiversary 16, which I'll get to in a few minutes. So now, on to the next match, the second women's match on the card, or Knockouts match. It is for the Knockouts title as the Su Yung defends against Madison Rayne. So basically, how Madison Rayne got this title shot: she defeated Tessa Blanchard at Redemption, then she defeated Taya Valkyrie to become the official #1 contender. Wow, I can't speak, guys. Contender for the Knockouts Championship. Meanwhile, Su Yung and Ali are feuding. Su Yung got the upper hand. She won against Ali in the casket match. Madison Rayne defeated Tessa Blanchard a second time, and now they're face to face feuding. Basically, there's very little story regarding why Su Yung and Madison Rayne are feuding. It's more so the fact yet again that Madison Rayne is #1 contender, so she has the title shot. Kind of like the X Division match, basically. She's #1 contender, so she has to have the match. There's very little personal animosity. Su Yung is playing her mind games, though, on Madison Rayne, making her go cuckoo. So there is a bit of hatred between the two. So definitely would make sense for Madison to want to get a bit of revenge for all those mind games. But here, this prediction is very, very... my whole mind is turned and twisted on this match, because if I was making this video 2 days ago, guys, I would have gone with Madison Rayne. But now with the rumors of Madison Rayne not staying past Slammiversary and possibly being in the next Mae Young Classic in WWE, really makes me second guess my prediction, because it seemed like Madison Rayne was getting the Gail Kim treatment and getting coming back to Impact and getting the title right away. But now that I think about it, if that rumor is true, it would be really, really, really a big boost for Su Yung if she's the one that retires, like, quote unquote, Madison Rayne from Impact. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Impact did go with Su Yung, and that'd be my prediction now, because a part of me thinks that the rumor is probably true. I wouldn't be surprised if Madison Rayne does go to the Mae Young Classic. So definitely here, Su Yung, my prediction is that she retains. Who she feuds with after, who knows? I just feel like she needs to maintain the title until Rosemary comes back and they have their crazy program together, because we know that that feud is going to be awesome. So I kind of did my prediction of what's going to happen moving forward between these two. So without further ado, let's move on to the next match. And this one is probably the biggest deal on this card. Probably the best planned out, the best performed, the best built up, the best everything feud on this card for Slammiversary 16. It's a 51-50 street fight titles, as the new LAX, Santana and Ortiz, with their manager Conan, are going to be defending their titles against the OGs, Hernandez and Homicide, alongside their manager King, or Eddie Kingston. So, wow, this story has been fantastic, guys. I'm going to give credit to Conan, because for those who remember, when Conan came on board with Impact, he wanted full creative control of his storylines. So it's more than likely Conan, the master behind this whole story. So props to him. I'm not surprised that he managed to pull off such an amazing story, because this man has really good creative talent besides his crazy mic skills. So this match, wow. How it came to happen was they found out Conan was attacked by someone. LAX started losing matches because they didn't have their manager by their side, Conan, their leader. So they started losing matches against Cult of Lee and other teams, and they were really falling down the pit. They were losing money, losing girls, losing booze, all that kind of stuff. And then King came into the equation. King said that he was the second person on, like, the gang scale, or the gang, I don't know how I'm going to say, the food chain, the gang food chain. So he was going to take care of them and bring them back up to glory. And he did. He made, they got their rhythm back, and they defeated Z and E for the Impact Tag Team titles. So after that, Conan made his, first off, Diamante started getting a bit suspicious of King, but Santana and Ortiz didn't want to believe her. Conan made his return to TV. He started blaming King, saying that he knew something about him getting jumped. He was blaming him for the attack and all that. King was denying it. LAX were confused, and Conan said he would bring proof the following week. He did bring proof. He said that he showed proof. King finally admitted it, saying that yes, in fact, he did it, but it was for good reason. Conan was washed out. He's the new king. He brought them back to glory faster than Conan ever did. So he wants Conan to step aside. But of course, that's not happening. So the OG, LAX, Hernandez, and Homicide returned and beat down the new LAX, Santana and Ortiz. And this is where this match came to happen. So this is the old LAX versus the new LAX to see who's really got it. And with the 5150 street fight rules, it's going to be sick. Like, people say Hernandez isn't that great in the ring, but man, oh man, he can pull off some pretty good gimmick matches when it comes to street fights like this. If you don't believe me, see his Lucha Underground work. Meanwhile, Homicide still has it. We definitely saw it in that barbed wire match against OVE. So really, really excited for this match. And honestly, I don't see LAX retaining here. I feel like this is just the tip of the iceberg of this feud. They'd be dumb to blow it off right now, right here, after just making the return of the OGs. So definitely here, I feel like OGs will win and defeat the new LAX and gain the titles to keep this feud going. And I wouldn't be surprised if they had the final blow-off match at Bound for Glory, which is all the way in October, November. With Conan's very good creative mind, great creative mind, I'm more than certain they can get this feud going all the way there, and it's going to be one hell of a ride. So let's move on now to the main event. Austin Aries, the world champion, is defending against Moose. So yet again here, along with the X Division and Knockouts match, how there's not much story coming into this. Moose defeated Eli Drake for the number 1 contender spot, and now he's facing Austin Aries at Slammiversary. So I'm not blaming this lack of story. That's Don Callis and Scott D'Amore booking right there. They wanted it to be a lot more wrestling-like. Like, they incorporate some cinematic stuff, but they want the rules to be, traditional wrestling. You become number 1 contender and then you get a title shot. Number 1 contender and then you get a title shot. With the storyline basically backing up those rules in wrestling. So I'm not saying it's bad. I feel like this main event could have been built up a bit more, but we still have that confrontation tonight on the Go Home show of Impact Wrestling. So definitely feel like that confrontation is going to set the mood and really cement this feud as a big deal. So basically, Austin Aries is just trying to prove that Moose is washed out, came to wrestling just because he failed in football, is going to fail in wrestling as well. And Moose wants to prove that he's Mr. Impact Wrestling and is finally due of a title shot. And that's what I believe. I feel like Moose deserves a title run. It's about time that he gets a title run. He's been with the company for a few years, and he's done really good work. If you forget that whole babyface crap that he did with American Top Team and continuously getting beat down, his run and Impact has been very solid, and I wouldn't mind him having a title run. So tying back into what I said earlier about Tommy Dreamer versus Eddie Edwards, what I see going forward is, if my prediction is correct, then Moose does win the Impact World Championship. Of course, there's probably going to be that little rematch between Austin Aries and Moose. And once we get that out of the way, I wouldn't be surprised if Eddie Edwards comes after Moose, because they did foreshadow it a bit after Eddie Edwards jumped Tommy Dreamer at the House of Hardcore show. Moose tried to stop Eddie Edwards or calm him down backstage, but Eddie didn't want any of it. And we know that Moose and Eddie are best friends, so I wouldn't be surprised if Eddie targeted Moose next. So that would be a fun match as well. And after that's over, that match could be, I don't know, between the span of, I'm just giving us an imaginary time frame here, Slammiversary and Destination X, and then between Destination X and Bound for Glory, they could build up the next feud for Moose, which would be the Battle of the Giants, Moose versus Brian Cage for the title at Bound for Glory. And that, guys, would be insane. That would be my fantasy booking, guys, having Moose versus Brian Cage, two giants at Bound for Glory. Like, that's old school wrestling booking there, guys. Bigger than life characters like Moose and Brian Cage going at it in a ring. They might not be the most technically sound wrestlers. Okay, maybe not Brian Cage, exclude him from that sentence, but regardless, it's just the feeling of and the mood of having these two wrestle is going to be massive. So that's the whole card, guys. My overall thoughts for Slammiversary, I said at the start, I'm super hella excited. The Rebel Complex looks amazing. It's sold out, so it's going to be even more amazing. I just hope they don't make the Rebel Complex look like the Impact Zone like they did with the Ottawa tapings. Please make the Rebel Complex feel unique. Make it a big deal like Slammiversary. I hope that their production crew at least knows how to use the equipment that the Rebel Complex has. If they don't, get the people that work at the Rebel Complex to help them out. Use those crazy lights that they have. They have so many lights. They have so many fog machines. I'm pretty sure they even have a smaller pyro stuff, like the spark stuff, if I'm not mistaken, as well. They have strobes. They have everything. Like, make use of that. Have crazy entrances. Make this Slammiversary the marquee event, guys. Impact has to make this Slammiversary huge. It has been ingrained in the mind of a TNA fan for 16 years now that Bound for Glory was the big deal, and now it's with this new regime, they've transitioned it to Slammiversary being the WrestleMania of Impact. So if they need to make this a big deal, go all out. Make special entrances. Have everything. Make it a big deal. Like, I'm not talking about aesthetic wise. Make the wrestling count. I'm definitely not going to be worried about that. I feel like wrestling will deliver here. The wrestling has been tremendously better since the new regime has taken over. So definitely excited for Slammiversary, guys. So yeah, I've been rambling on quite a while now, 40 minutes about. So I'll end it off here, guys. Thank you for listening through this whole video with me. Well, not with me. I'm speaking. You're listening. So thank you. I hope to see you guys in the live discussions for Slammiversary this Sunday. Stay tuned, guys. Tomorrow I will be releasing a hot fire for the Go Home show of Impact Wrestling. And then on Tuesday, I'm sorry that I can't do it Monday, but Tuesday, a hot fire will be coming out for Slammiversary as well. So stay tuned for that, guys. And at the end of the month, little teaser, you're going to see the return of a new not a new podcast, because it wouldn't be a return then, but you'll see the return of a podcast that took place with me in it a few months ago. It'll be making its return at the end of the month, hopefully, guys. So stay tuned for that. My name's Fireguy, and I'll see you guys a little bit later.